When it seems that we have reached the end, in reality we are just beginning. Rejection, that feeling of not being loved or valued by someone we esteem, pierces us like a sword, wounds us, makes us feel vulnerable, and sometimes leads us to deep reflection. After all, by nature, humans seek acceptance, connection with others. We are social beings, and since ancient times, being rejected could mean the difference between life and death. And even in our modern era, this quest for acceptance persists. However, Stoic philosophy presents us with an intriguing perspective. Imagine living in a reality where rejection does not define you, where your worth does not depend on external validation. A perspective in which rejection is not seen as a failure but as a blessing. It may seem peculiar, but to understand it, we need to dive into the world of Stoicism and discover how this ancient philosophy can transform our relationship with rejection. In the next few minutes, we will embark on a journey through time and the mind, exploring the wisdom of the Stoics and finding out how to apply it in our everyday lives. I invite you to continue on this journey, to understand why rejection, far from being a curse, can truly be a blessing for you. To comprehend how Stoicism can alter our perception of rejection, we will delve into its roots and understand its foundations. Picture yourself in ancient Greece, a world of gods, heroes, and philosophers where a revolutionary philosophy emerges. Stoicism was born in 300 BC in Athens under the teachings of Zeno of Citium. His philosophical school became known as Stoa Poikile, meaning painted porch, where Zeno used to deliver his teachings. But what is Stoicism really? Essentially, it is a philosophy that teaches us to accept life as it is, recognizing that there are things beyond our control, but we can always control how we react to them. If we travel from Athens to Rome, we encounter iconic figures of Stoicism who took their lessons to another level. First, Seneca, advisor to Emperor Nero, who through his letters and essays offers a profound insight into human nature. He emphasizes the importance of living in harmony with nature and accepting both adversities and joys with equanimity. Next, Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and one of the most influential thinkers in history. His personal meditations reflect on intimate thoughts about life, death, and living in accordance with virtue, without being shaken by external circumstances. And we must not forget Epictetus, a freed slave who became a renowned Stoic master. He reminds us that it is not external events that disturb us, but our perception of them. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, he used to say. These philosophers, with their lives and teachings, show that regardless of our circumstances, we always have the power to choose how to face life. And it is this mindset that helps us see rejection, not as a threat but as an opportunity. Before we explore how Stoicism assists us in dealing with rejection, it is essential to understand that this philosophy is not a set of rigid rules, but a way of life, a guide to living with purpose, meaning, and resilience. Every time we experience rejection, it's not the act itself that hurts us, but how we interpret it. In the grand play of life, the scene unfolds as if we were spectators, observing from above when one person says no to another. However, in the mind of the rejected person, this no triggers a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. I'm not good enough. What did I do wrong? Why don't they want me? These questions echo. Epictetus, with his penetrating wisdom, teaches us that people are not disturbed by things but by their opinions about them. In this light, rejection, like any external event, is essentially neutral. It has no intrinsic positive or negative value. It is simply a fact, a response. The pain or joy we feel is the product of our interpretation. Reflecting on Marcus Aurelius's famous quote, we realize that if we feel affected by something external, it is not the thing itself that disturbs us but our judgment of it. And we have the power to change that judgment now. If, instead of seeing rejection as a judgment of our worth, we view it as a simple response, a different perspective, or even as an opportunity for self-learning and growth. Seneca, in his letters, presents a revolutionary idea. Adversity tests gold, adversity tests strong people. If we adopt this perspective, rejection becomes not a barrier but a challenge, an invitation to question our own judgments, strengthen our resilience, and find a deeper purpose in our lives. Changing our perception of rejection is undoubtedly a challenge, but with the tools that Stoicism offers us, we can transform this experience into a source of strength and wisdom. And now, let's explore exactly how to do that. So, faced with an obstacle, a wall, the challenge of rejection rises imposingly. But have you ever considered that behind this wall, there may be a treasure waiting to be discovered? A world of possibilities, learnings, and strengths? Stoics have a peculiar view of the world, where calamities are seen as training, and where, while many become disheartened, they strengthen themselves. This includes the dreaded rejection. Pause to think about the act of lifting weights. What are you really doing? Subjecting your body to resistance, to a challenge. With each lift, your muscles break and then regenerate, becoming stronger. Rejection, seen from this perspective, becomes this resistance that, if faced appropriately, will strengthen our character and resilience. If there are still doubts, consider the lives of great historical figures who faced rejection in ways many of us can't even imagine. A notable example is Thomas Edison, the inventor of the phonograph and the electric light bulb. It is said that he faced more than 1,000 failures before finally creating a working light bulb. Faced with setbacks and rejection of his ideas and prototypes, he did not give up. Instead, he saw these situations as opportunities to learn and improve. Thomas Edison used to claim, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This resilient mindset illustrates how rejection can be interpreted as a journey of discoveries. Another inspiring story is that of J.K. Rowling, the renowned author of the Harry Potter series. Faced with multiple rejections from publishers who saw no potential in her manuscript, she persisted until she found one that believed in her talent. If Rowling had let these rejections define her value as a writer, the Harry Potter narrative might never have come to life. Both stories highlight how rejection, far from being the end, can be the beginning of something extraordinary. Rejection, therefore, can be the catalyst that propels success, as long as we know how to approach it. At this point, Stoic wisdom shines brightly. Instead of avoiding rejection, it invites us to face it, to challenge it, to dialogue with it. It is in this dialogue that we find the keys to unravel its lessons and grow as individuals. So the next time you encounter a no, think of Edison and Rowling. Think of all those who saw in this no a not yet or a quest for another way. Rejection is not the end, but the beginning of a new adventure. Are you ready to embark on it? Imagine possessing a tool that allows you to face any challenge with serenity. If you could confront adversity in the eyes and say, "I hear you." Welcome to the Stoic Toolkit for dealing with rejection. Firstly, we will explore the duality of control, a concept proposed by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. This duality invites us to divide the world into two categories: what is under our control and what is not. Now think about rejection. Can you control how someone feels or thinks about you? The answer is no. However, can you control how you react to that rejection? Absolutely. This distinction liberates us from the burden of wanting to manipulate the external world and empowers us to work on our internal world, on our response. When faced with a no, instead of asking why we were rejected, we should question what we can learn from it. Let's go further. Stoics practice something called indifference. This does not mean ignoring your emotions or pretending they don't exist, but not letting them carry you away. Imagine your emotions are like the wind. They can blow strongly, but you, like a sturdy tree, remain firm, allowing the wind to pass through your leaves without uprooting you. Passing emotions like pain or frustration in the face of rejection are this wind. Acknowledge their presence, but don't let them bring you down. After any experience of rejection, it is essential to engage in self-analysis. Not to blame yourself or find faults, but to understand and learn. When facing rejection, it is crucial to question your emotions and responses. Why did you feel what you felt? Is there any underlying belief that might be influencing your reaction? This exercise of self-questioning opens an internal dialogue way, allowing you to identify areas for growth and adjust your perspective. Now, let's address two practical challenges that you can start implementing today. The first is the Stoic Diary Challenge. Set aside 5 minutes every night to reflect on your day. Was there any rejection or challenge? How did you react? What did you learn? This daily practice will turn you into an observer of your emotions and behaviors, providing clarity and self-awareness. The second challenge is the rejection-facing challenge. During the next week, confront something you fear. It could be something small, like asking for a discount in a store, or something more significant. The goal is not necessarily to get a yes, but to face the fear of rejection and learn from the experience. Rejection, ultimately, is one of the many facets of life. We can't avoid it, but we can choose how to face it. With Stoic tools in your arsenal, rejection can transform from a terrifying monster into a friendly mentor, always willing to teach and guide you toward a stronger and wiser version of yourself. Now, armed with this new perspective, I invite you to face the next time you encounter rejection with a fresh outlook. Consider this experience not as a punishment, but as a disguised blessing, a gift that, if accepted with wisdom and courage, can lead you to unexplored corners of self-discovery and growth. If you've made it this far, allow me to deeply thank you for your time and attention to this video. Before you go, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Take care, and until the next video.